My background is in gender studies, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on the socio-economic environment which shapes our energy politics. And I think the most important fact is that a failure to transform state institutions leaves the new South Africa looking like the old, in the sense that with respect to energy policy, we are in many, many ways operating exactly like apartheid South Africa. Some things are even worse. Economic inequality is worse now than at the end of apartheid. Why has the rate of inequality risen? Because South Africa is an extractive economy based on rent-seeking by small elites. Why I say that energy policy is very much like apartheid South Africa, I used as a case study Eskom's multi-year price determination. Now we have an energy monopoly. It's called Eskom, and Eskom has to apply to be allowed to raise tariffs. The history behind this is from 2010 to 2012, tariffs went up by 25% a year, except for 2012 when the state said, the state is the sole owner of this utility, the state said we won't take dividends this year. And the difference made by the dividends the state didn't take was actually 8 billion. So in 2012, electricity tariffs only went up by 16%. Well, what does our monopoly utility do with this money? It paid for a 40 billion contract for boilers at the Medupi and Kusile coal power stations. This contract was held by Hitachi Power Africa, in which Chancellor House, which belongs to the ANC, has a 25% shareholding. The money paid for a 2 billion contract from Eskom for materials handling at the new Kusile coal power station to engineering company Bateman Africa, in which, surprise, surprise, the ANC has a 10% stake. But essentially, because we have a utility monopoly wholly owned by the state, one can look at electricity tariffs as a form of tax. This is essentially how they are using it to extract tax from people. One of the net results is a revolving door between the minerals energy complex and the government. But one of the interesting consequences of the situation is that renewable energy is speedily becoming cost competitive with fossil fuels. But the second thing it means is that the only way we're going to get renewable energy is through civil society mobilization. Obviously, when the government is married into the minerals energy complex, it's not going to be particularly proactive about energy that will not bring it a profit. Just to give you more of the complexity at local government level, between 30 to 40% of local government revenues come from electricity tariffs, which I understand is quite high as a global average. Our most recent study showed that solar photovoltaic, the price has fallen by 25%, concentrated solar power, the price has fallen by 6.5%, and 11% for wind. And in fact, I believe the South African Wind Energy Association is saying wind is already cost competitive with coal. Essentially what's happening is we're encountering a resource constraint. People are having to go deeper and deeper for the coal, and so it's not cost effective really to produce cheap coal for energy anymore. Ironically, the government's response to this has been to recommend more coal mining. Well, just to finish off then, in January we produced something called the Electricity Governance Initiative Smart Electricity Planning Report, and in response to all these factors we made several recommendations. We need to recognize global economic uncertainty and the need for more flexible responsiveness. Up to now we've been producing big energy for big users, and we're saying, but how about we produce small energy for everybody instead? Thank you.